Welcome, tennis fans. The 2024 U.S. Open has officially crowned its champions, and what an incredible tournament it's been. On the men's side, we saw Jannik Sinner battle his way to his second Grand Slam title, delivering some of the finest tennis we've seen this year. And on the women's side, Aryna Sabalenka showcased her dominance, claiming the U.S. Open crown in stunning fashion. With incredible performances from both champions, we'll dive into their journeys, key moments, and what this one means for their careers. Don't miss out. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications as we take you through every detail of this historic event. A stellar Aryna Sabalenka captured the women's crown at the 2024 U.S. Open on Saturday, defeating American Jessica Pegula 7-5, 7-5, up 3-0 in the second set. Sabalenka was forced to fend off a furious comeback bid from the Buffalo, New York native who won 5 straight games to threaten a third set. But Sabalenka snapped back with 4 consecutive games of her own to win her first U.S. Open singles trophy. With the title, Sabalenka can also be crowned the queen of hard courts. Her prior 2 major titles were won on Australian Open cement in January of this year and in 2023. Outside the majors, 11 of 13 of Sabalenka's titles have been won on hard courts, and the number 2 seed is on a 12-match hard court winning streak, having taken the Cincinnati Open 2 weeks ago, beating Pegula in the final there, not incidentally. That's a lot of winning. But Sabalenka may well have felt an eerie echo entering Arthur Ashe Stadium on Saturday. The 26-year-old has bowed out on that stage in the U.S. Open semifinals twice, in 2021 and 2022. She advanced to her first final here in 2023, when another American ranked below her at the time, that would be Coco Gauff, took the title in 3 tough sets. Like Pegula, it was Gauff's first slam final. Like Pegula, Gauff beat Karolina Machova in the semifinals. And just like last year, the Ashe crowd roared its support for Sabalenka's homegrown opponent. The number 6-seeded Pegula, age 30, has had to contend with her own version of great but not glorious Grand Slam results. She'd stalled out in major quarterfinals 6 times over the course of her career before beating number 1 seed Iga Swiatek this tournament to secure her first quarterfinal win at a slam. That victory pushed her late summer win-loss record to 15-1, the one loss handed to her by Sabalenka and Cincy. Before that, Pegula successfully defended her title at the WTA 1000 tournament in Toronto. More impressive still, Pegula's red-hot run came after a disappointing, even distressing, spring. She sat out the clay season due to neck and rib injuries. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year I'd be in the final of the U.S. Open, I would have laughed so hard, said Pegula after advancing to the title round. The match, held under a closed roof due to rain, started with a couple of easy service holds, with each player contributing an ace. Sabalenka was the first to show her nerves, slipping to 15-40 when serving at 1-1. Pegula broke with a rocketing return, grabbing the set's first advantage. But then she showed nerves too and dropped her own serve to level the score, 2-2. With the match's early stage awkwardness dispelled, the players seemed to settle into their games. And the players know each other's games well. Sabalenka, who was world number 1 after last year's U.S. Open, came in with a 5-2 edge over Pegula. The American's highest ranking was world number 3, also achieved last fall. Sabalenka, fair to say, has the more impressive CV, and her power, very much on display early on in this final, has been another thing to fear this fortnight. The number 2 seed also displayed a willingness to approach the net, throw in drop shots, and otherwise wrong-footing Pegula with both pace and guile. At the 30-minute mark, Pegula was serving down 2-5, and serving well, with 4 aces on the match, compared to Sabalenka's 3. The American looked relieved to pull out that game, with a pretty forehand approach to the net. Would Sabalenka, serving at 5-3, feel the pressure? Yes, she would. Pegula earned herself a chance to break, failed to convert, and then earned another one. Sabalenka looked frustrated when she slapped back Pegula's return, sending a forehand sailing. And so the first set was back on track, with Pegula serving at 4-5. The American made quick work of her service hold. Twice in the next game, Sabalenka blew chances to close it out with double faults. Finally, A skidding 113 miles per hour serve led to a Pegula error, and the American was faced with the task of holding her serve at 5-6. Sabalenka kept up the pressure to earn her 2 set points. She missed out on both of them, and then 2 more. For her part, Pegula stayed steady, until she double faulted to give her opponent her 5th chance. Sabalenka seized it to take the set, 7-5. Would Pegula be able to turn the match around? Early in the second set, the Americans' error count was mounting, 15 of them to just 10 winners. On the other side of the net, Sabalenka, with 30 winners to 25 errors, cruised to 3-0 lead. But in her semifinal match, Pegula proved herself something of an escape artist. Against Machova, the American slipped to a 1-6, 0-2 deficit, only to storm back. That kind of comeback looked possible when Pegula earned 2 break points when receiving at 1-3. She converted on the second, and suddenly the set was back on serve. Credit goes to Pegula for finding a way to win 4 straight games and earning a 4-3 lead, her first in the match. Make that 5 straight games, and suddenly Sabalenka, down 3-5, was serving to stay in the set. After the match, Sabalenka admitted that at this crucial point, she was contemplating the distinct possibility that the match might go the distance. "I was getting ready for the 3rd set," she said. Instead, she held on to her serve and then broke back to level the set to 5-5. A short time later, up 6-5, Sabalenka hit 4 bruising forehands to put pressure on Pegula's serve. She seized her second match-point opportunity to win the set, 7-5, and the championship. After falling to the court in celebration and sharing the moment with her team soon after, Sabalenka climbed back out of the stands to await the championship ceremony. Taking in the chaos that is ash after a final, the winner looked contemplative. Not so far away, so did Pegula, but in a very different way. "I wish you would have let me have 1 set," joked the American during the ceremony, characterizing Sabalenka as maybe the best hardcourt player in the world. "I'm speechless right now," said Sabalenka when asked about the long, elusive, and beautiful U.S. Open trophy. "I'm just super proud of myself. I never say that, but I'm super proud." Call Sabalenka the girl with the tiger tattoo. She has one on her left forearm. And call her a U.S. Open champion. What it means. If there were ghosts of U.S. Opens past in Sabalenka's head, she dismissed them. In last year's women's singles final, Sabalenka was a setup and in command when Goff, spurred on by a raucous Ash crowd, mounted a stirring comeback to snatch the title away. Pegula appeared primed to do the same this year, as she worked the home fans into a frenzy with her second set effort. But this time, Sabalenka kept her cool and authored an alternate ending. While Pegula could not claim the trophy, she will earn a new career-high WTA ranking on the heels of her best major run. Come Monday, the American will move up 3 places to number 3 in the world. American Emma Navarro will also hit a new high, rising from number 12 to number 8. For her part, Sabalenka will remain world number 2, and, despite crashing out in the quarterfinals here, Swiatek will retain her number 1 spot. Match point. With the win, Sabalenka became the first woman to claim both hardcourt majors in a single season since 2016, when Germany's Angelique Kerber took both the Australian Open and U.S. Open titles. World number 1 Jannik proved exactly why he is the leading light in men's tennis on Sunday at the 2024 U.S. Open, as the Italian toppled American number 1 Taylor Fritz 6-3, 6-4, 7-5 to lift his first U.S. Open title. Sinner spoiled the home crowd's party in Arthur Ashe Stadium with relentless firepower throughout to bookend his Grand Slam season with a second major of his year and his career. "I did pretty well, I guess." Sinner began his winner's speech with a chuckle, now the first Italian men's singles champion at the U.S. Open. "This title means so much because the last period of my career was really not easy. I love tennis. I practice a lot for these stages. I understood, especially in this tournament, how important the mental part is in this sport. I'm very happy, very proud to share this moment with my team." In front of an A-list crowd, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, Dustin Hoffman, Anna Wintour, Matthew McConaughey, you name it, Sinner skipped from side to side, then in one lunge forward arrowed a forehand onto the right tramline. It was a statement in the very first point, and one that continued throughout the 2+ hours of action on the Open's main court at a break, then a hold to love, and Sinner zipped 2-0 up. Fritz, competing in his maiden major final, dialed in on the ground strokes and capitalized upon a netted drive volley from the top seed to edge 3-2 ahead. The home charge withstood a barrage from Sinner to prevail in a 23-shot rally of supreme ball striking to indicate the world number 12 was in charge. Not quite. Sinner feathered a disguised forehand drop shot to garnish a 4-3 break lead, and the Italian played with too much heat to handle to claim the opener that in an opening set 2 hold to love. Sinner soared left, with movement akin to his childhood skiing in the Dolomites, to leap airborne and crack an inside-in forehand winner. The world number 1 was threatening to sprint clear from there, but Fritz dug in deep as the pressure incrementally mounted as the second player to serve each turn. There were 0 chances for either competitor until 5-4. Sinner's depth, direction, and ferocious velocity told. He scorched a deadly redirected backhand. Fritz slid right, but his outstretched arm couldn't deal with the force. In a flash, the world number 1 was 2 sets to the good point 8 months ago in Melbourne. Sinner tasted Grand Slam glory for the first time by reeling in Daniil Medvedev from a 2-set deficit. For Fritz, matching that task was insurmountable, despite chalking up 0-40 in the opening game. Sinner didn't give the world number 12 a sniff, dictating the next 5 points to escape danger. Facing a brace of break points at 3-2, Fritz was a wall of defiance in a 21-shot rumble. With a bit more juice on his shots, the American had the crowd engaged to restore parity. A Fritz lob, then overhead combination in the rally of the match, received an electric reception from the absorbed Ash crowd, and the number 12 seed's athleticism at net provided the catalyst for a 5-3 scoreline. But once again, Sinner proved why he has the number 1 next to his name, keeping his conviction and composure to Forza, his way to glory with a finishing flourish that what it means. 2 hard-court Grand Slams this year. Both have been collected by the man who's nicknamed the Fox. Sinner has more than cemented his status as the top man in tennis. For the rest of 2024, the chasing pack will attempt to find out how to trouble this complete and neat athlete in decisive duels. Looking ahead to 2025, what is the formula to sink Sinner over 5 sets? It's becoming harder and harder to crack on the evidence of this fortnight, on this clinical final showing. Joining Jimmy Connors, 1974, and Guillermo Vilas, 1977, Sinner is the 3rd man in Open era to win his first 2 Grand Slam titles in the same season. Incredible, no? So many big wins for me this season. Starting off with Australia and playing so well there, which gave me confidence till now, the ambitious 23-year-old added. The work never stops. I know I can still improve. As we saw today, a couple things. You have to be proud of what you have. The rest, you have to go for it and work for it. I can't wait for my continued process. Match point. In the 21st century, only the ultra-dominant Big 3 triumvirate of Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal, as well as Carlos Alcaraz, have won multiple major titles in the same season. Now, Sinner can be added to that list. The 23-year-old is in that type of company, rapidly building his own Hall of Fame career. On a similar note, Alcaraz and Sinner have split the majors this season. Will their simmering rivalry reach a new level next year and beyond? As we wrap up this incredible journey through the 2024 U.S. Open champions, it's clear that Jannik Sinner and Aryna Sabalenka have both solidified their places in tennis history. Their determination, skill, and mental toughness were on full display, and it's only the beginning for these 2 stars. But now, we want to hear from you. What did you think of this year's champions? And who do you think will dominate next season? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest tennis updates. See you next time.